They don't like to look at themselves.
Huh?
They like to remember how they were.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that's true? Flowers of sorrow in bloom, walking past my gate, a mirror polisher. Hmm. Anyway, she says, unchanging doll faces. I've had no choice except to grow old. Seems she couldn't stop herself from growing old. Uh, Meeting with the priest, Bonsetsu at Kenjo Temple. A pheasant's cry resounding in the mountain, the voice of silence. Um, well, in the end, she becomes a Zen practitioner. That's her last poem. Meeting with the priest Bonsetsu at Kencho Temple. A pheasant's cry resounding in the mountain, the voice of silence. There is a voice of silence. Oh, it's the voice of silence. Now we have, I don't know how you learn all this. I guess if you were to. Now, her one poem here, there's one of her poems refers to, there's a widespread famine in Japan, and see, one of her poems refers to Seigyo, where Seigyo says, I pray to die under cherry blossoms in spring when the moon is full, in the lunar second month. And here this, her poem, she says, which refers to Seigyo, she's got a poem that says, hmm, hmm, I don't know, dear, I don't have. Well, here's a poem that says, blissfully lying under the falling blossoms, a skeleton.
Yeah, you read that before, and I thought it's Seigyo.
Yeah, well, it says here she's referring to Seigyo. That he's blissfully lying under the falling blossoms, a skeleton.
Maybe she's mentioned about that.
She sees Seigyo lying there, apparently. Or unless it's this poem, flowers of sorrow and bloom, walking past my gate, a mirror polisher. That's not the one. So she sees Seigyo. Seigyo's prayer was answered as he died on the 16th of the second lunar month in 1190. How did he get his prayer answered? Seigyo. A lot of these advanced people, I'll tell you when they're gonna die. Hakeem, the doctor says he gets examined by the doctor and he says, "Oh, I guess you're fine now. You're getting better." And Hakeem says, "How come you can't even tell I'm gonna die in 3 days?" Most doctors can't tell the real truth. Well, we have some time so we can read more of this poet. Want to read it again? But I like to focus on one at a time. We can discuss her. Her full name is Enomoto Seifu. Her reputation rose in the 20th century while Shirojos went down. But now in the 21st century, Shirojos is going up.
What?
Huh?
Oh,
I, and this one way is undecided. Hmm.
she's very good. Very doesn't depress you.
Yeah, her writing suggests she received a good education, and especially Japanese classics. She She was married. She had a few teachers. Or let's see. Well, her stepmother may have been her teacher. When she got married, her stepmother is a haiku poet. Her She worked under the guidance of Shirao, Shirao. Even though she was older than him, Shirao was a more gifted poet. They may have had a relationship. When he dies, she becomes a nun. Her son collected her poetry and published it. She practiced Zen meditation at the temple at Kamakura sometime in her latter years. She died in February of 1815, so she says, at daybreak speaking to the blossoms, a woman all alone. She says, stillness, out of the rain, a butterfly roams into my bedroom. Rumbles from the rocks, cherry blossoms in the moonlight, far from the world of men. Rumbles from the rocks, cherry blossoms in the moonlight, far from the world of men. What's so great about that? It's far from men, the cherry blossoms, and far from men. And what's the rumbling from the rocks? Enjoying myself at a sake shop in Kanagawa, like a fish in the sea, this body of mine cool in the moonlight. No more water, decaying in the ivy, a bamboo drain. That worm-eaten fan looks charming too, first summer clothes. Leaves of a palm staying just as they have been, autumn comes to a close. A market day in the hills, hailstones ricochet off the horns of a cow. Someone's rag bull in the hedge, plum blossoms fluttering down. Shaking sand off his bristly hair, a sumo wrestler who's lost the match. Clustered bush clover, the wheels of a carriage squeak in the moonlight. Spring departs, clothes hanging out to dry at a mountain villa. Clap of a pheasant's wings as a string on my Kyoto snaps and night falls. What? Maybe a pheasant's wings clapped when her string snapped, and the night fell. Blissfully lying under the falling blossoms, a skeleton. That's nice. That's nice because it's a reference to Seigyo. Because remember, Seigyo wanted to die under the blossoms. And that's his skeleton that she imagines. An aged butterfly letting its soul play with a chrysanthemum. Departing spring in a cluster of mugwort human bones. A bird far away, flying into the clouds, its white belly. Flowers of sorrow in bloom, walking past my gate, a mirror polisher. Unchanging doll faces, I've had no choice except to grow old. Meeting with the priest Bansetsu at Kencho Temple, a pheasant's cry resounding in the mountain, the voice of silence. Reading from Enomoto Seifu, From Far Beyond the Field by Makoto Ueda. Kanagawa is a modern city of Yokohama. The shop probably overlooks the sea. That's it we're finished with her. We were reading from Far Beyond the Field. Are we going to learn Japanese and go to Japan, or what are we doing? We are. It's a sudden change.
You said before, Mom,
Oh, we are. We should look at the Japanese, because remember I learned some Punjabi by reading the Guru Granth, by looking at the words. Here is we're done with this poet for now. Any comment? You like it?
It's not but a great up with this
Poetry. Japanese poetry. Yeah, it is good, isn't it? Huh? What was that article? I just saw an article about the Japanization of United States. This is part of that program where Japanizing United States with Japanese poetry. So, is this part of the program?
We adopt every kind of beautiful wherever it's from.
Oh, it's good to undertake a new form of beauty, like outside your sphere. This is a new territory for us, in a way.
New type of poetry, actually. Seriously, never. I read some Chinese poetry, but and some Japanese also poets, but I never understood that this type of poetry was so major.
You didn't encounter haiku that much. Barely knew basho.
Yeah,
I saw that show of Hakin at the Japan Society. And you encounter Zen, but Zen teachings. Oh, you remember Kyoto while in Kyoto? There was the poem while I was in Kyoto, I was dreaming of Kyoto. Remember the poem where I'm with you, and I was dreaming of being with you. That's romantic. I dreamed of being with you. Well, I was still with you when I was longing. I was with you. I had this longing to be with you. It's terrible. I can't even being with you, I couldn't overcome my longing to be with you. What am I supposed to do? While I'm in Kyoto, I long to be with you in Kyoto while I'm with you. It's ridiculous.